Hey folks, my name is Jürgen, aka Nerd and Proud of It, and Destiny has brought you to my channel today to have a talk with Jesper Myrfors. Or yeah, I'm gonna have a talk, and you probably, hopefully, gonna enjoy the talk. Jesper, good to have you on the channel. Thanks for
Oh,
joining.
it's Jesper, by the way. I'm Swedish, so the J is pronounced like a Y. The whole Yump and
Okay,
Yemeni thing.
okay, Jesper. I'm,
Yes.
I'm gonna do my best. The Swedish origins, yeah, make it being pronounced Jesper. All right. Where in Sweden are your origins from then?
I was born in Stockholm.
Stockholm. Okay, very nice. I've been a couple of times. Got a couple of friends there. A beautiful city. When did you move to the US? When you were very young?
1966.
All right. Then you were pretty young. If I
I was
remember
I was about
correctly,
two.
too, right?
Yes.
1964
But I'm
you were
still a
born?
Swedish citizen.
Oh, you still are. Okay, nice. It is a nice nationality to have. Do you have a double passport or just the Swedish citizenship?
Just the Swedish.
Very nice.
Under the current fascist regime, I'm not sure I could get double passports. So I'm going to wait until the old codger dies, and then I'm going to try.
Fair enough. And today I would love to talk to you, of course, about Magic the Gathering, about your art, and about your journey in the gaming space in general, if that's okay.
Sure.
You studied art in the US, and then you got into Magic pretty early, right?
Yes. Yes. I
Uh,
got- I studied art at Cornish College of the Arts in Seattle,
mhm.
and I got into magic before it was really a thing. It was just the secret project that I didn't know about until they showed it to me.
All right. Yeah, I talked to a couple of your colleagues, and especially Jeff Mangus told me he was involved very early as well. And I know you were involved very early as well. When was the first time you've seen something from Magic the Gathering? When did they show you something? Do you remember?
I don't remember the exact date, but I remember I was downstairs working on some Talislanta project, and they said, "Okay, we want to show you something upstairs." So I went up to the kitchen, and they had these little cards cut out of cardstock, and that was magic. That was the first time I saw it and played it.
Were you were you convinced by the gaming concept right away?
Well, so they didn't have money to really pay us back then. They kind of kept a running tally of what they owed us. And after my first game, I said, I don't want any of this in I don't want any of my back pay in cash. I want it in stock
Uh,
because this
Probably
game
a
is going to
smart
change
move.
gaming forever.
Yes, yeah. So you recognized right away they had something there.
Because I'm a gamer. I'm the target market.
Yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I read, and it would be cool to confirm, of course, in the beginning when you did the first art pieces, or in general when the other artists as well, as you were one of the original 25 Magic the Gathering artists, they indeed didn't pay you very much, like $50 a painting and $50 in stock per painting, right? Is that correct?
It was $50. Yes, $50 cash, $50 stock, 2.4% royalty to be divided among all the artists, which went away when the greedy parasitical suits came in. And then we got 50 artist proofs that we could use
Yes.
as leave behinds
All right.
or
And
business
you.
cards.
No, I know I'm a big fan of artist proofs, as I wrote you as well, and I'm especially very fond of the antiquities artist proofs. Was lucky to get one of yours recently, also one of the four you did, and I am very curious because I've talked to a couple of your colleagues as well, like Jeff Mangus and of course Anson Maddox and Drew Tucker, and they told me the 50 artist proofs were actually like a baseline, but in general for some cards from the dark and antiquities they got more. Do you remember roughly why that was? Maybe because of the print
It
sheets?
yeah, it's how many times they appeared on the print sheets. For instance,
Yeah.
anyone who did a basic land got more than 50 basic lands.
Yes, exactly. So like the commons were distributed more or given out more, and then they printed like 50 print sheets with the blank backside of the sets, and then everything you got from the commons and uncommons probably was a little more than 50.
50 was the baseline agreement.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. I'm always very interested about how many of those cards are out there. Do you still have some of those artist proofs? I see
Yes,
some recently hitting the market. Very cool. You do some beautiful paintings on those.
thank you.
Yeah, I honestly I love those. I especially love the Colossus of Sardia, and I was lucky to get that one, and I really think that is absolutely beautiful.
The
But I
frozen
also
one.
yes, exactly that one. I sent you the picture in the mail as
The
well. It's of
story
course
the story
yeah
in my head
yeah.
for that is that after the Colossus had done its stuff, it just disappeared, and so a group of people went looking for it, and they found it in the frozen wastelands, and so
I think
that's a story that's
yeah.
in my head, not official canon.
No, of course not. But I'm very curious about these things, and I'm very happy you tell me that because that is something I will remember and something I will associate with this card. Like the Colossus of Sardia, indeed, maybe even crumbled to stay in your four antiquities cards as well, and then being looked for by a couple of people you see on the painting as well. Is it difficult to use a small canvas like this, or do you prefer it, or is it how's the process there?
It it can be difficult. I recently had the lenses in my eyes replaced, and so I went back to 20/20 vision, and then giant floaters appeared. So I have about 50% eyesight in my left eye and maybe 80 in my right.
I'm
And it's
sorry
not
to
the
hear that.
kind of vision loss that magnification helps because these things are actually between my retina and the lens. So it's it's like someone putting gauze in your eye and having to look through it. So it can be difficult. Working at the size of the artist proofs isn't that difficult, but sometimes I'm asked to do some pretty detailed stuff in just the art box, and that can be a real pain.
Okay, I understand. So in general, you prefer to paint a little bigger then, or is doesn't that make a big difference to you?
I never
Y-
paint really big. I,
No,
I
okay.
I got into painting from painting miniatures, and I started painting miniatures at 15 millimeter
Yeah,
Napoleonics for a wargaming group. I've always liked small art.
fair enough. No, I think it is a very special kind of canvas. And what I read as well is that you prefer to use acrylic paint. Is that does that still hold true?
Yeah, for a while I used acrylic gouache, but it scratches too easily. So then I switched to a brand of acrylic that's it's a vinyl-based acrylic made by a Swiss company, and its primary purpose is for wall murals, indoor and outdoor wall murals. So it's a very uh, robust paint. It can
Okay,
handle a
very
lot of damage.
interesting. So you have to be a little less careful in general.
But now with the idiotic tariffs, it's difficult to order that. So I might have to use a US based paint.
Yeah, no, I understand. That might change up things a little bit for you then. I'm curious as well. Of course, you've painted some of the most iconic Magic the Gathering cards out there. I just mentioned the Antiquities cards, but of course, I love the Dark cards as well. And Alpha, you were one of the original 25 artists for that. You painted, if I remember correctly, like four of the dual lands, like the Bayou, Scrubland, Tropical, and Tundra, I believe. Yes, indeed, I have
And
that
I
as a
painted the
background
very
here.
first card for Magic.
Yeah, that was the Iron Root Treefolk, if my
Correct.
information is correct. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that one as well. And in general, you are more focused on like the black and green cards because of your Lovecraftian style. Did that come naturally? And of course, as the art director for Magic, you probably had a bit more opportunity to choose the cards you were able to paint.
Well, I actually wrote the dark because I wanted to paint that kind of subject matter.
Yeah, very cool.
But yeah, I like horror. I don't like terror. I don't really like gore, but I like sort of a dark mystery.
I
I'm
get it.
very drawn to late 18th, early 19th century horror stories for that reason. They have a great mood to them, and they don't have to rely on shock to tell a good story.
No, they are more about the mystery. I just recently read a Lovecraft story, and indeed, it doesn't talk about the exact details. It's more about the things that you don't see, and that
M.R.
is what
James is
scares you.
really good too,
Uh,
a British writer
okay, I
who
have to
came
check.
before Lovecraft. You can actually see his influence on Lovecraft.
Okay, interesting. I have to check that one out. And the dark you wrote for that, is that the reason as well why the set is so unified in its overall artwork and its overall vibe? Because the dark is fantastic when it comes to that kind of vibe, mystery, and these kind of things. Because you had that vision for the whole set.
Yes, and I think I was able to communicate that. The other sets, aside from say Arabian Nights, were kind of a hodgepodge of subject matter. You can see it in the quotes too, taken from real world sources. And the dark actually had a message to it, and the message of the set was it was sort of a dig back at these hypocritical evangelical Christians who kept calling gaming satanic and demonic. And I wanted to point out that religion isn't necessarily good in itself, and that the dogma that goes with that kind of organized religion is often more dangerous than anything they accuse the Satanists of. So that's why you have things like angry mobs
Hmm.
and lots of puritanical values and things. And white isn't the good color. It might be the color of order and religion, but it isn't a nice color.
No, indeed, cards like Angry Mob, which I believe is from Drew Tucker, right? And
Yep.
cards like The Exorcist, and also
Witch Hunter.
yeah, Witch Hunter and The Preacher. These kind of cards definitely don't radiate good. They are like more, yeah, in between somewhere. I hear you. Nice, very interesting. And throughout the whole set, you chose the artists for that set as well, based on their ability to portray that kind of vibe.
Well, I let the artist pick the cards they want. I
Hmm.
find that they do the best work when they have a say in the art they're assigned. And I try not to over art direct. I really want their vision. Like the Maze of Ith was not supposed to be an intestinal tract. That is not what I pictured in my head at all. But it was really interesting. So I
Yeah.
went with it because, as I've said before, what is the point in hiring a bunch of incredibly creative and talented people if you're going to micromanage them into one vision instead of taking what they can provide? It makes the world so much more interesting to get all those visions in place.
No,
So
true.
I want to put my ego aside, which isn't that difficult when I assign artwork because it isn't about my vision. It's about the vision of the people that I trusted enough to hire.
I hear you. If you give them the freedom to be creative, then most of the times that freedom results in something unique. And I think that is definitely the case with the early Magic the Gathering sets.
So I often
Um,
had to recalibrate my expectations, but I was never disappointed.
that is good to hear. And even a step before that, before giving them that freedom, like, I mean, people like Drew Tucker and Anson Maddox, they clearly have a very high interest in that kind of art as well. A bit more mysterious, a bit more directed towards the dark. Did you choose them for that, or did you just go with the guys you had available at the time?
I
And
went with the guys I have available. I'm
yeah,
a very loyal person, and they were there for me in the beginning when I needed them, and I wasn't going to cut them out. Now that we were starting to get successful, we could all grow together.
That is super cool, and that helped the game eventually a lot as well, because people were so used to that early art, and keeping those guys on board was a great move. Then, do you still have contact with? Are you still in contact with some of them sometimes?
Most of them, yeah.
Nice. That is very cool. Yeah, that I'm always happy to hear that, because I mean, a journey like this, if you start that together, it's probably super cool to ramble about that a little, even now, like more than 30 years later, right?
Yeah, I just wish that Cris and Quentin were still around.
Yes. Yeah, I hear you. That that would be great. They are definitely missed. I always ask the artists I talk to when we talk about the Magic the Gathering cards, what their favorite card is, because I'm very interested. You said the Iron Root Treefolk is the first Magic the Gathering card ever created, but in general, what is your favorite card from back in the day? And maybe there's a story behind that,
What
and I'm curious about that
in
as
what
well.
way is it my favorite? Are you asking?
The favorite to
The,
create.
the favorite that I've made.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be Elves of Deep Shadow. I think I captured something with that, and Amber Bird is a
nice.
fantastic model.
Yeah. And is there a backstory to that as well? How that card came to life?
Well,
Not only, yeah.
I had taken a lot of reference photos for some illustrations I was doing for a Vampire the Masquerade book,
Hmm.
and I had some leftover photos, and one of them was that photo, and I really wanted to turn it into a painting, so that's how that became Elves of Deep Shadow.
Yeah, I think it's a super realistic one as well, and maybe yeah, like you said, some if you look at that card, something speaks to you, and it's interesting to hear that that is yeah, that just happened somehow, because it sounds a bit like that. You weren't planning on that card to speak like that, right? Or it just happened, or you
Well,
hoped so,
I
probably.
always hope
Yeah.
it's going to,
Yes,
but
yeah,
it's
I
rare
can
that it
imagine.
does, and that one did. It was sort
Awesome.
of that was the an infinite out of monkeys with an infinite amount of typewriters moment for me, where I actually did something I was really, really proud of.
No, I can imagine. No, it is a fantastic card, but in general, I think a lot of your cards, and looking back at them, I would say all of your cards you can be really proud of, because just look at the fact that 30 years later, people are still super enthusiastic about it. And for me, it kind of like I started Magic in 94. It came out in Germany then. And yeah, I was a young kid, and for me, it really like shaped my future to a degree as well, which all you guys are kind of responsible for. Because I went on, as I told you in the mail, to work in the gaming industry as well, and very happy about that, because that's where my passion lies. But 30 years later, your cards still influence people. Is that strange to you, or are you? Yeah, I can imagine you're happy about it, but what does that do to you
It is
when you think
strange
about that?
because
Yeah.
I was introduced very to art very young by my parents. Uh, Elsa Beskov was an artist that really influenced me. John Bauer was an artist that really influenced me. Those were Swedish artists that we had Swedish stories books around when I was a kid.
Okay.
And as I got older and was introduced to more artists, Brian Froud, Frank Frazetta, Boris, Ian Miller, the list goes on. Patrick Woodruff. I don't want to leave anyone out, but we'd be here all day if I started listing them. And I look at these people, and their art was a major influence on me. And they're so much better than I am. And the fact that some people view my work sort of in that same light, and it has that effect on them in their lives, kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Then you do to people, or your art influences people like you have been influenced when you were a kid, and it's like coming full circle somehow. Yeah.
It's gratifying and a little
Yeah.
hard to believe.
Yeah. But it is the case, so that's very cool. Hey, folks, let me interrupt the chat to Jesper here for a second. Jesper was kind enough to talk to me for almost 50 minutes, which I appreciate a lot. But it would have been a bit too much for one big video with the intro and everything. It would be more than 50 minutes. So I decided to split it into 2 parts. This was part 1. The second part will be up on the channel in a couple of days, and it will actually start with Jesper talking about his opinion of the 30th anniversary edition. And I can tell you, he was not very happy with it. Wouldn't probably come as a surprise for most of us, but still very interesting to hear. I'm always interested to talk about these kind of subjects, which obviously involved all of us Magic the Gathering players, as well as new and old players, and people who have been dealing with the game in the past, like Jesper. I will say stay healthy and stay frosty for now, and I hope you join me for part 2 in probably about 1 or 2, 3 days. Have a look on the channel when that one will drop. I probably will edit it before, and you will see it before it actually goes live. Stay healthy, folks. Stay frosty. See you in the next video. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye bye.